Morning, everyone. Mr. Southgate. Thank you. Okay, morning, everyone. Welcome to Impact Habarare, and thank you for joining us today for our second Friday series for the Accelerate 2030 program. For those who are here for the first time, I'll just let you know a little bit about Accelerate. Accelerate 2030 is a program that was co-initiated by UNDP Geneva and Impact Hub Geneva. So the goal of the program is to help startups that are, well, not startups, but ventures that are working towards SDGs scale their impact. So they go through a 6-week training where we are giving them tools to help them forge a way forward so that with the work that they're doing, how can they make it bigger? And if they want to make it bigger, that's the decision is theirs. So last week we had a session where we're talking about SDGs and the Africa Continental Trade Agreement. And today we're talking all things logistics. And I'd like to thank DHL and CSI for agreeing to come share some knowledge with us today and what's applicable for entrepreneurs and what logistics looks like for that, because I know logistics at times seems like a very scary subject. So I think we're going to learn a lot. For our online audience, thank you for joining us. Please do write your questions in the comments if you have any questions at any point for any of our speakers today. And then we'll try our best to get back to you during the session or after that, and they can answer your questions. For the bathrooms, they're the wall behind me if you do need the bathrooms. So not to, oh, by the way, I always forget to introduce myself for some reason. My name is Hope Mchanyuka, and I'm the operations manager here at Impact Habarare, and I'm the lead for the Accelerate 2030 program. So not to take too much of our time this morning so that we stay on schedule, I want to hand over to Tapiwa Janje from DHL, who's going to share what DHL is doing in logistics and how that applies to entrepreneurs. So everybody help me welcome Tapiwa.
Thank you, Hope. Morning, everyone. Hey, I know you can do better. Morning, everyone. Morning. I know it's June and it's cold, but I mean, you just have to get yourself like checked up and stuff. Morning, everyone. Morning. Yes, that's better. My name is Tapio Janje from DHL. We are here to learn. I'm not here to show you guys anything. At times we make an assumption that we are teaching, yet at the same time, you'll be learning more. So it's actually more of the learning that I'll be doing from you guys as we'll be sharing. And it's going to be interesting. I trust this process. Thank you, Hope, for the opportunity, and thank you for everyone who's here. I'm going to talk a bit about who DHL is and why we are here and the importance of being part of these SDGs. So you see, the funny thing growing up, when I used to hear there's this thing, I think I was pretty much, I remember it was sometime in 1997 when people were talking about Vision 2020. And oh my word, I thought, okay, would I be alive? Will I live to see this? Does this make sense? But boom, 2023, eh? But 1997 to 2020, it seemed like a lifetime, eh? And it is indeed a lifetime, because 1997 to 2020, that's like 23 years. I'm at 2000, they would have been born, eh? Some would be married, some might be divorced, all sorts of things happening, eh? But it's certain things that we take for granted when some of those things are being shared, like where Hope is coming about with Impact Vision 2030, with this strategic development goals that we would want to be discussing. It's about mapping a roadmap. How are we going to get there? What is it that we're going to do? How is it I'm going to make things happen? Because at times you do have a vision, but now as you have a vision, what is it that you're going to do for you to achieve that vision? Most of the times is that we dream of what we want to do, but at times we fail to actually execute in terms of what we want to do. So this is why we are here, and this is why we are also part of this whole process. It's a process that we hope will empower. It's a process that we hope we'll learn a lot about. So I'm Tapio Shanje from DHL. I'm responsible for key accounts at DHL. I've been with DHL for the past 3 years. Prior to being with DHL, I was in banking, from banking into logistics. Crazy and interesting aspect. I was in banking for about 12 years, and I just went, and then boom, there was this opportunity about logistics, and then I thought, do I take it? Do I pass or what? But fun enough, because I'm always interested and so keen in terms of learning, I was like, okay, I'm going to be a tabula rasa. I'm going to blank out. I'm going to erase everything I know about banking. The only thing I needed to know was to make sure that I still remember my account number, because I need to get paid. That was the one thing in aspect about banking I just had to remember. So I went into the freight world, the logistics world, a truly tabula rasa without anything that I didn't know. But it has been an amazing 3 years, learning a lot from DHL, personally, professionally. So DHL is a company that is in over 220 countries. We have every station all over the world. In each and every country, we are represented. So our network is pretty big. We really leverage in terms of our network, in terms of our capabilities. You see, most of the times the challenge that people have is that when you're in trade, when you're in business, most of the times you try and struggle and think, what is it that I'm going to do? How am I going to move my stuff across the globe? But DHL has the solution because of our network. Merely in each and every country that is represented, we are there. So of late, we try and come up with this solution. So right now we have a plane called Alice. It's an electric plane which just does deliveries on its own. It's more like a drone. It's electric and it will be moving by its own, and it does a lot of work. So right now, so being DHL and very innovative and very cutting edge. I was just discussing to one of our head of ocean freight. I said, Sasha, is it possible if a client just drops their parcel in the middle of an ocean and they give us coordinates and then we can pick up that? And then Sasha was like, you know what? I think it's something that we can do. And I think it's something that we can delve into. So because of that, we really very much enjoy learning. We really enjoy being in the lead and coming up with these challenges that are always coming up for us, such that we are able to deliver. Our capabilities have made us be one of the largest freight forwarders in the world. So being DHL, being represented in 200 countries, it's quite a mammoth task. It takes a lot. Our workforce is over 600,000 right now worldwide, which means that it actually has an impact in terms of what we can offer, in terms of what we can actually help each other with. DHL has two strategic business units in Zimbabwe. Most of the people, they know DHL as a courier company, but we are more than a courier company. Globally, we have about 6 business units. That is DHL Express, DHL Global Forwarding, DHL Deutsche Post, which is in Germany. We also have DHL e-commerce. All of these are umbrella companies which are covered under DHL Global, DHL as a group. So all of them are under DHL. So in Zimbabwe, we have 2 strategic business units, which is DHL Express. Most of the time, people associate, when you ask them about DHL, they don't know our capabilities. They only assume that you can do parcels. DHL Express is merely focusing in terms of courier. Most probably, they do from 0 to 300 kgs in terms of parcels they can carry, which is strictly by air. DHL Global Forwarding, on the other side, we do air, sea, road, and customs clearing. So those are the 2 strategic business units that we have in Zimbabwe. So I'm going to focus into my presentation. I was just talking in terms of our capabilities. So I'm going to talk in terms of our capabilities, in terms of what DHL Global Forwarding can do for you. So we do have our air freight. Our air freight product, confident to say we are the leading air freight forwarders in the world. We are very much strong in terms of our capabilities. Like I highlighted, we cover over 220 countries. We are present in there. So you find in 220 countries, in a country like America, it's got 50 states. So which means we basically have at least 50 branches in America. But once you're in America, because it's so big, you're looking at more than the 50 branches that are across in America. You might have another, and like if you are going to be in Washington, you might have 5, 6 different stations. So in America alone, we might just have maybe close to about 100 or 200 offices because of how big America is. So in terms of our air freight, we've got a lot that we can offer. We do have various products that we offer in terms of our air freight. We do have what we call priority console. When we talk about priority and console, priority, we are looking at saying you want. Thank you. I need to learn to be a pastor. At least I could have used my voice if I was a pastor. Eh? So we do have priority. Priority, like the word is said, this is like a priority service. It's like a straight through service. You're saying, Tapio, I want to move my goods from the UK within 24 hours. I want to move my products from the UK within 72 hours. This is so priority covers between 1 to 3 days. This is our priority, that I want to move this thing quick. We also have what we call a 24-hour same day service. If you want to move your stuff anywhere in the world, we can do it within 24 hours. Anywhere in the world. I want to move ABCD from China. You remember during COVID, we moved quite a considerable amount of the vaccines. We had that operation coming in. We were chartering the vaccines from China into Zimbabwe. That whole operation was done within a period of 24 hours. Vaccines are quite sensitive, temp controlled, and a whole lot of planning that's needed, such that by the time it gets to the airport, the customs clearing has been done. You've organized in terms of the refrigerated trucks, the reefer trucks that are going to move that. So those are the things that we could do in terms of our air freight. And then on air freight, we do handle various cargo that we have. We have basic cargo, which is just general cargo. When you talk of general cargo, we're talking of cargo that you can just move, which does not need a lot of handling. General, like the word is saying, it's general. It's not anything that you think outside the box you need to worry about. It's like getting your palleted crates when you're moving, like your shoes and stuff. That's general cargo. You don't need to think about anything. I'm not sure, but being in America with technology, there might be shoes that change color with temperature. Those might be different type of shoes. But if it's just general shoes, that's just general cargo, and we can move it for you. And then we also have dangerous goods. Dangerous goods, basically, you're talking of certain types of goods that need specialized handling. We are very, very, very much skilled in this. We have guys who've been trained to handle dangerous goods. If you're going to be moving bombs, we can move them. If you want to move anything dangerous, we can move it. But when you look in terms of arms and ammunition, there are certain embargoes or certain specific things that have to be done according to UN. If you remember 2001, when the attack happened, certain controls have been put when you're moving certain types of cargo. So you have to bear in mind the type of cargo that you're moving. Is it permitted in certain countries? Because there's certain cargoes that you might want to move, but they're not permitted within certain countries. So that is it with dangerous goods. You might have certain chemicals that you want to move that are classified as dangerous goods. If you want to move a certain chemical because it's got a reactive temperature, the moment it gets to a certain temperature, it can explode. And then a certain chemical, the moment it's within a certain temperature, it might lose its characteristics because it has gone down to a certain temperature. And there are other dangerous goods that are there as well in our culture, and this but we can move it. But all we have to know is that what kind of a dangerous good is. But it's something that we can basically do. So these are the various types of goods that we can actually move for you on air. We can do a charter plane for you. If you want to hire a full plane from anywhere in the world, we can land it for you. If you have landing rights, we can land it at your gate. But I'm not sure if if our airspace guys would allow it. But this is something that we can do. You want to get a plane from Zimbabwe to Malawi, we can charter a plane for you. You want to get a full airplane from Zimbabwe to China, we can do that for you. It's something we've done. We can do it like at the step of a finger. DHL owns their own planes. We actually have our own planes that we actually operate. So it makes it easier for us at certain routes. I can just simply say, okay, if it's coming out of the US, if it's coming out of Germany, I can get a DHL yellow plane to be chartered, and then it comes through to Zimbabwe with your loads. That can be done. And one of the things that people get worried about, yes, a charter is a bit expensive, but because you're dealing with DHL and we might most probably be moving it using our own airline, it might be expensive, but can be reasonable because this is something that you'll be doing internally. So those are the things that we can do in terms of you for air freight. Road. So we have road and ocean freight. Like I highlighted, in Zimbabwe, most people we're not aware in terms of our capabilities, in terms of ocean freight and road freight. We do move any cargo by road from anywhere in Zimbabwe or from anywhere outside the countries into Zimbabwe. You'll find in terms of road freight, you've got your full truckloads, your consoles. That's something that we can do for you. It's very, 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 very reasonable prices. You see, one of the things that I've learned is that you see, when you have a good brand, there are certain assumptions that people make that if I'm going to be dealing with DHL, they're expensive. So I remember one time I was talking to Nigel. He was my former colleague. He was telling me, he said, Taps, there's this chick I'm really interested in. She's very beautiful. She looks a bit well up than me. I was like, Nigel, just go out for her. Maybe she's already eyeing you, but the fact that you're really scared from a distance, you think that she's out of your league. At the moment you approach her, she was already waiting and saying, this guy was taking a lot of time. Like, the same thing with DHL. You guys are taking a lot of time in terms of approaching us and saying, what, DHL, can you do a BCD for us? Because at times you associate a big brand and then you be scared, like, what, if I'm going to go to DHL in our Shona colloquial language, I want to drop a spit talk. But those are malicious and frivolous lies. We will not let such statements detract our brand. So look, this is what we can do for you. Ocean freight, we are very strong. So we've got various partnerships with all the major shipping lines. We actually own a shipping line in Europe that we actually operate on our own. So these are some of the capabilities. So you find with ocean freight, if you're going to be importing anything or exporting anything out in or out of Zim, we have preferential treatment that we have because we've already have some pre-signed contracts with certain or what you call the shipping lines. What we do is that we buy space in advance. At times, for example, this space that we have here, we can say if it's going to be MSC or Maersk, we will just buy this. If we buy this and then say every week we want this to move, if that week moves and we've managed to only fill this part, it will move as is because we've already bought that space. So my job is to make sure that this space that has already been bought has to be filled up. So we have a competitive advantage that we always have space that we always buy in advance. We are always covered in terms of certain bookings. So that's one of the competitive advantages that you actually have with DHL. And of late, one thing I can also advise is that we take pride in honesty. Prices in terms of shipping have been really going down, especially on the ocean front. So beginning of the year, rates were at this point, but some of the rates have gone down by like a third. One thing we've done is that we've been open with our customers. We will tell you that rates are going down. If they're going to go up, we'll be forthcoming and tell you, look, the rates are going to go up. Because at the end of the day, we understand if you make money, I make money. If you lose money, I lose money. We are interested in partnering you such that when you are growing as a business, we also grow. When you are moving one container, if you are able to get your cost to go down by 30%, which means you can now move about 3 containers. So those are the things that we want to do with you. Those are the things that we want to partner you and share with you. We've got capabilities of handling what we call out of gauge. Out of gauge, this is your cargo, which does not fit in normal containers. Like if you want to move a transformer, there's certain transformers which you can't just put into a container. They move outside a container. We have capabilities. We have the skill. We have the expertise. We've been in existence for over 200 years. And the vis-a-vis, I think the last time when we checked, I think we over close to 1 billion years experience when we combine the 600,000 employees and the experience that we have. We're over 1 billion years in terms of experience, but 200 as a company, but as a whole company in terms of the workmanship hours that we have, over 1 billion hours in terms of experience. So those are the things that we can do for you. So ocean freight, we can do it for you. You can go through Durban, you can go through Beira, you can go through Windhoek. You know, there's a dry port in Namibia that the government of Zimbabwe actually did implement. It's a partnership that is there. So those are the various options that you can actually use in terms of ocean freight. Customs clearing, we can do that for you. We've got the skill. We can do your import and export declarations, permits and licenses. We can do BV. We can do. Of late, our government is putting quite a number of SIs to protect our industry. I know some of the times we complain and say, government is being complicated. But the reason why government does is that they want to protect the consumer, such that there's no dumping that is happening in Zimbabwe. Because if certain measures are not taken into place, we might end up just getting sub-quality goods and sub-quality products. So those are the things that are put in place. So BV inspection, very important. We can do it for you in certain countries that when you are exporting, rather than you having a problem, because we've seen there's a gap in terms of people trying to do BV and then they say their goods are stuck in for 3 months, 6 months, 8 months. But we have the capability to do a BV inspection for you in various countries, whereby in certain countries we can't do it. We know how we can move it into another country, and then when you move it into another country, we can do that BV inspection for you on your behalf. It will attract an extra fee, but because we understand the whole value chain, we will not put much in terms of that cost, because it's just a value added service, which is not what we would want to make money off. We also have cargo insurance. If your product is moving with us, we can insure it. We can make sure that it's covered. Normally with road, there's GIT, goods in transit, if any transporter that you have. But you can also have your own insurance in terms of what you'll be moving. So those are the various products that we have for you. So if you partner at DHL, these are the increased trade benefits that you have, economies of scale. If all of us decide to have something moved by air freight, and then we can consolidate, at the end of the day, we might end up reducing. One of the things, I'm sure some of us know Lyft, which is in America. I'm not sure some of you understand that the concept was derived from Zimbabwe. The concept for Lyft, some guy from the America came in, and then they saw the guys that were waiting for the Peugeot 404s by various ranks, that is your Copacabana, your Avondale, and they said like, okay, this is a good idea. Basically, that is consolidation. That is what we do in freight. So some of the times that we have ideas locally, but at times we don't see the opportunity. Somebody just comes into Zim, they went and developed an app, they call it Lyft, but here we call it Mshika Shika. And we don't understand. But they are amazed on how we do Mshika Shika without an app, without internet. So we already have some of these solutions really working, but we haven't really found a way of automating them. So those are some of the things that we can do in terms of economies of scale. We will improve your connectivity. 220 countries, a lot of stations that we have. Reduce your cost by return loads. We already know someone who's importing. We already know people who are exporting. By consolidating that, if I get a load that is going to Beira, I'm going to charge 1,000. If I get a load that is going to come from Beira, for example, I'm going to charge 800. Then I'm saying, okay, if I was going to go one way and come back empty, I'm going to make less money. But is there a way of me reducing from 1,000 to 800? And then the other guy also reduces their cost. So these are the things that we will definitely do for you. One thing that we have done as well is that we've introduced quite a number of programs. One of the programs that we've done is what we call Go Trade and Go Learning. So Go Trade is a project that we have introduced in terms of what we can show our entrepreneurs, how they can be onboarded, how they can learn how to do business from an international aspect. You see, at times
we assume and limit our capabilities because we kind of think we operate in a vacuum. So when you operate in a vacuum, you are really limited in terms of how you operate. You might be limited in terms of your capacity, in terms of how you can grow as a brand, in terms of how your business can grow. So we have a program that we've partnered. We can partner with you. You decide to be enrolled in this product, in this project, we can partner with you. It consists of nine different modules where we're going to teach you various aspects in terms of trade, in terms of handling customers, in terms of handling various things. I'm just going to go through that product. So it's called Go Trade. So Go Trade, like it's exactly like the gospel, right? I like the Bible. Eh? The Bible says, "And then evangel." So we also saying, "Go trade, go with what you have." But how are you going to go trade? These are the various steps that we'll do for you. We have a step which is onboarding. So when we onboard you, you are enrolling, and then you're getting to be part of the program. When you part of the program, the module gives you an overview in terms of the learning journey. It helps you to know each other, because some of the things that we've basically noticed is that one of the easiest thing is for us to interact. The fusion that we have is more than we actually assume. Supply chain, it's a chain, like you rightfully say. It does just not get to be a chain when it's one, but because these are various chains that are interlocked. When you get to learn about the various other what you call it, entrepreneur who's next to you, you will learn a lot. You might end up having a lot of symbiotic gains. At the end of the day, you might have value addition within each other. So it's also part of our onboarding. It will also go on the next stage which is welcome to e-commerce. We very much thrive on technology. We are a technology based company where we understand the importance of how technology is going. We have a program that we call Go Green, where we're trying to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide that is happening. If you're aware, there's a strategic development goal to reduce our global warming by about 1.5 degrees to the current levels that we have. Because at this level that we're going, the globe keeps warming, and that is why we're having a lot of these disruptions in terms of our weather patterns. So with e-commerce, it's there to help you learn. It's there to make your business more visible. It's there to make sure that your business reduces cost. It's a way to reach out to customers. E-commerce is like how we do our social media, how we are on Facebook looking for likes, and most of the times I've seen a lot. We've got a lot of guys, a lot of people in Zimbabwe who have a very huge following, but they haven't learned how to monetize that. They haven't learned to leverage on those numbers. How then do you get to reach to your customers? How do you reach out to your supplier? How can you make the process seamless without your interference? How do I put my product online? How do I get it delivered without me doing anything? So all of those things, those are the things that we can do. And then from there, we'll also teach you what we call the art of logistics. This is strengthening your logistics for international e-commerce. This module explores logistics and how entrepreneurs of SMEs can benefit from it. Topics that are covered: strengthening logistics and benefits of working with logistics partners, modes of transport, hidden costs in logistics. So with hidden costs, at times we don't understand there are certain costs. For example, if you're going to trade, there's what are called Incoterms. Freight forwarders know them, but to a mere business person or a SME who hasn't heard about Incoterms, they don't know what it means. You might get your goods to be written X-Wax, and then you buy, and then you say, "I've got my goods, I'm waiting for them." But the fact that it's just called X-Wax, it basically means you've bought your goods. They are here at Harare Impact Hub. That is the price that you've paid. And then you'll be following up and saying, "Where are my goods?" They'll tell you, "No, you've paid. We received your money, but your goods are here. Your Incoterm was X-Wax, but you said, I've paid. I'm expecting delivery." So it might become a hidden cost because you're not understanding the terminology that is being used. At the end of the day, you've done costing. You've already sold that good or product to your customer. You sold an X-Wax basis, and you're saying, "My good, I got it for $10." By the time you talk to your customer, you've already sold the good for $15, but there's a hidden cost that you haven't incurred. That hidden cost is your transport, it's your customs clearing. By the time you decide to go back to your client, "Kana kuri kuZimbabwe, did zvavarana." And then because you have to honor a contract, you might end up incurring that cost. So those are some of the hidden costs in logistics. They are hidden not because they are hidden, but they are hidden because we don't know. But what we are here to do is to make sure that we are here to help you understand them, how you can also price, how you can leverage on such knowledge. We'll take you then to welcome to international trade. You're navigating into international agreements. A lot of countries and all over the world, there are various ways of getting into contracts. In some countries, a handshake is a contract. In some countries, a verbal contract is actually binding. But in some countries, if it's not written, it doesn't exist. Some countries don't recognize the handshake as a contract, but within certain things, you need to learn how to do it. So there are benefits and challenges of international trade. Certain how do you do international agreements, specifics of customs unions, free trade and preferential agreements. In Africa, we have the ACFA, which we, as Zimbabwe, has ratified, which we are a signatory to. It's been ratified, but it hasn't been implemented. You need to understand what does it mean? How do I benefit from this? We have COMESA, Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa. Those are some of the international trade. What does it mean? We have SADC. It's as good as at times when you're importing things, and then the freight forwarder will ask you, do you have a SADC? Do you have a COMESA? Those things, this is part of international trade because there are certain agreements that have been set up within the SADC community that actually gives you economical gains. They will help you in terms of specific of customs union. Your COMESA helps you in terms of getting certain duties or certain levies being reduced for you. Within COMESA, there are certain quotas that we are supposed to trade within countries. You'll find there are times when the government will say, for now, we are not importing a certain goods because we've reached our quota. Oh, we are not exporting certain goods. There was a time, right now, I know, like in Nigeria, they say they don't import sugar. They don't import sugar. It's a trade embargo. If you don't know about it, you most probably move sugar into Nigeria. The moment you move sugar into Nigeria, it's confiscated at that moment. There's no recoup. There's nothing that will happen. But because you didn't know some of these things, like the preferential agreement, it becomes difficult for you. You would have gotten into a loss. And then from there, we'll move into international contracts and conventions, which are most probably linked to international trade. How do you, this module focuses on how entrepreneurs can secure their shipments with international conventions and contracts. Topics covered is international conventions, logistics contracts, types and elements, impact of future trends. So with impact of future trends, there are certain aspects you might not know because you're in Zimbabwe, but because DHL is capacity in China, we will know certain trends that will be trending in China. Fortunately, with social media, the trends that we know are the ones that we find on TikTok, the ones for Amapiano and Zimdanso and all sorts of stuff. And unfortunately, I also want to learn about Saint Flow, Holy 10 and stuff. I'm not sure of the trends, but hopefully, I'm going to learn about what is trending locally in Zim. But you can't be limited to know what's trending in Zim. You have to know what is trending in the whole world. So within that journey, you also learn how to navigate your customs. And then you learn about compliance and cybersecurity. I've got an interesting compliance cybersecurity. So one of the things that you learn is compliance is important. Most of the times we want to cut corners, but if you're going to go international, there's no cutting corners. You have to do it by the book, everything to the T by the book. This helps you in terms of improving your market competitiveness, because with international trade, you need to be very, very compliant. You need to make sure you tick each and every box that is expected of you. Cybersecurity. How do I protect my company? How do I make sure that my website is protected, my systems? Because at times you have systems, but they might be vulnerable in terms of these hackers getting into your system. How am I going to do that? I remember at one time the cybersecurity and cybercrime is quite prominent here in Zim. One of the easiest one was for people who are masquerading as ladies on internet, telling you involved in a war, why would send me money and then I'll send you money after this. Or you've got other businesses masquerading and saying, we've got this business. They will see your profile. You are into ABCD, you're exporting your biobab oil. You know what, we've started our own processing company and stuff. Please send us samples. After we've partnered with you, when you send us 100 kgs, and then we can give you a bigger contract. This is part of cybersecurity. They can hack and actually profiteer from you, and then you might most probably lose. And then from there, we teach you the essentials of logistics operation. You're mastering shipment paperwork. At times, we fail to trade because we don't understand the processes that are involved. And then we will go what we call customer is queen. Yeah, we've really gone gender there, because people were used to saying customer is king, but to us, customer is queen. We value women, and SDGs. They have a goal to make sure that there's equality, there's diversity. How then do you view women? So to us, customer is queen, cash is queen. We value our women, and we make sure that we understand. See, when you say customer is queen, there's a way I treat my wife. I need to make sure that my wife is treated well. If I don't treat my wife well, I'm not told one anymore. There's this clip I saw. The guy was having a fight with the wife, taking the bags out. There was a guy next standing, and he had a car. Started just taking the bags and putting them in the car for him. Now the guy is fighting, saying, you get out. Now the guy realized that as he's unpacking and putting the bags were not actually multiplying. They were disappearing. The moment he realized, so there's another guy who's actually aiming for my wife. Then he started complaining, can you put those bags back? I want my wife. You come back home and then we'll sort each other out. Simple. Because there are certain things that you take for granted. You think your customer is basically someone you ill treat. It's like your wife or your girlfriend. If you don't treat them well, the guy who's sitting next is already aiming for them. But I always tell my wife that but she doesn't believe me. So I'm really trying to, that is why I was trying to get about the holy trends and Saint Flourish. If I start to trend, I might also be on demand. So this is part of the journey. Customize queen. How are you going to do it? How do you learn to have a customer-centric mindset? Customer care is a mentality. It has just gone from customer care to what we call customer experience. It's an experience. What is it that I'm going to do? How then do I get to that point? So when you understand customer is king, you then move to customer experience. It's an experience. What is it that I'm going to do? From the time your client calls you, they reach out to your website. What is it that they do? At times your website is a bit frightening, That experience already is not good. And by virtue of that, you actually have customers just moving away from you because of how your website is presented in. How you respond to your emails. I remember my first job. I was working for this bank, ZABG. I responded to my boss in bold letters. This was my first job. I was straight out of college. And then my boss called me. Then I came. Honestly, I went back. So my boss was like, connect up your call. I was flabbergasted. I was like, but I responded to what you asked. I responded in caps. Properly, nice written email. At least I got an A in English, and the English was good, but it was in caps. But by the time she's like, no, Tapio, when you're writing an email, you don't write in caps. When you're writing in caps, you are shouting. So that is why I've asked you. The reason I have asked you this is because I know you didn't know. So at time, it's an experience that you think this is just basic. But to someone, when you actually answer them in that manner, like, so this company wants to grow, I'm giving them money, but they're already shouting at me. So it's a whole experience that there are certain things that we take for granted, but they really have an impact in terms of how people and how customers really interact with you. So it's about increasing your customer centricity. How do you identify new customers? How do you reach out to new customer? So in marketing and in sales, there is a saying that it costs more to get a new customer than to maintain one. It's easier to sell by word of mouth than for you to sell. But once you try and start selling by yourself, you really have to convince. It takes you more time. It's going to take you more resources. But when you've got that customer experience and that word of mouth is moving, it really becomes easier for the next person to really understand and get an experience from what someone has already said. But if you've never done it properly, people will always have a bad mouth about you and they will not say good things about you. So that is how the journey will be moving. From there, it also goes into finance basics. Finance basics. So most of the times, people really take for granted in terms of finance. People don't understand calculating money. It's the importance thing of financial planning. Quick question to all of us: if I was to give you $1,000, I will give you about a minute. How would you spend your $1,000? My minute starts from now. I'm just going to ask someone, and you've got $1,000. I want to see how you're going to spend your $1,000. Yeah, don't ask for help. This is your money, eh? You're a sovereign person. So just think of how you're going to spend your $1,000, eh? Because it's also part of the financial process. How do you calculate it? How am I going to be left with the money? What is it that I'm going to do? How much am I going to spend? What am I going to do with it? Okay, 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Any volunteer? Any volunteer? You see, ladies. Madam, please your name.
Okay, thank you. My name is Chipo Chikomo. Though I didn't volunteer, but okay. So yeah, I'll use the money to buy my fabric and fabric for $1,000. Yes.
So how are you going to move your fabric?
It's already local, so I'll talk to.
So you are going to walk,
At least I would have bought it.
but you're going to talk to DHL. So you,
Yes.
you haven't even factored in the cost of traveling.
Yes, I
Your
haven't even
airtime,
boxed.
you haven't even done. Okay,
Yes.
thank you, Chipo.
All right.
Someone else with their $1,000. I'll go to the gentleman. Hi, sir. Please, how just share how you're going to spend your $1,000. How much? What investment? Which stock are you going to move? The bulls were ravaging the past 3 weeks. Good thing. So your research right now, we are not a publicly listed company in Zim, so you can't buy my shares. You buy online. Okay, 800 and 200. Daily. So you're using $200 for your daily needs. Okay, okay. One last volunteer. Anyone from the back? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It seems you're now getting to plan because of the other guys, eh?
Not really. I was lifting my hand, but you're not seeing. Yeah.
Definitely.
But for me, I think I'll just buy my projector, my laptop, and my pointer.
How much are they?
1,000 will do.
All of them. So
Hmm.
because it's 1,000, did you check where the other options are for you in terms of that 1,000? Are you sure that is the best deal you can get?
That's the best deal I can get. For now, yes. That's the best deal. Otherwise, I may have to be removing some of the things if they cost more, you see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you guys. I mean, look, at times we don't understand in terms of how we run things. It's like when you just get money, you're in your business, you've made a very good profit. You didn't plan for it. How are you going to spend it? Do you grow your business? Do I buy myself a Mercedes Benz? Do I go and buy new clothes and post on social media? But unfortunately, Zimbabwe is a Christian country. Hapana bhisa chegumi. Saka hapana chaunenge mari. Na ndafunga pana changotanga achiti I would start with 10%. So these are the basic things. Chipo said she would spend 1,000 in terms of fabric, but she did not put factors influencing your costing. She didn't put in and factor in the cost of getting to move your product. She did not even put in a research fund for that. The gentleman here wants to invest $800, but on his $200 is saying for the daily needs. But basically, if you have a daily needs, you have certain items that you basically know. You have a budget. So with finance basics, it's just teaching you about budgeting, financial planning, getting to cost calculations, proper long-term planning, and you're doing it right. So one of the things is that most people know what to do, but they don't do what they know. We know about budgeting, we know about planning. How do we execute it? It's a skill that you need to learn, and you get that thing to be impacted with you within that course of the program. We have also innovation and continuous improvement, which we very much value. You'd have and understand from the Chinese saying, which says "Kenai," which talks about constant and never-ending improvement, which comes from Kaizen. And then from there, finally, you go to what we call leading people through change. In Zimbabwe, I hope we've moved from the perception of managing to leading, because most of the times we really manage in terms of leading. How do I lead people? How do I grow people? It's also part of how you're going to be taught. You need to have a team-centric approach. How do I effectively affect my team members? What is it that I'm going to do? What are the phases of team development that I have? Different behaviors in changing times, leading others through change curve. So different behaviors in changing times. It's like, how did we navigate through COVID? It was something new that we could learn. We were able to work offline. We were able to work without being together. It's also part of leading people, because within Zimbabwe there was a mentality that if I can't see you, you're not working. If you're not there at 8, you're not working. I mean, it's part of leadership. I know it's good that we have this timetable saying be in the office at 8 and leave the office at 5. But is it being effective? I'm getting into the office at 8. I'm leaving the office at 5. Is it effective? Is it necessary for me to come to the office at 8? Is it necessary for me to leave the office at 5? I wish my boss was here. I'll just tell them that, for me, please don't look at the time I get into the office. Please don't look at the time I leave the office. If I can deliver the results, if I can deliver my KPI, it's also part of the learning curve in terms of leading people, in terms of being a leader. Because being a leader is about achieving results. How the results are achieved is what matters. But it's not about someone being in the office from 8 to 5. If they are in the office from 10 to 12 and they still make the money I want, for me, I'm happy. If I can get them to say, so if you make money within 8 to 10 to 12, so which means these are the times you can make more. Maybe I might need to increase that KPI. So ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tapio Janje. Thank you for listening. If you've got questions, feel free. I think I've got 5 minutes to interact and get questions from you. Thank you so much for your attention. Yes, sir.
Thanks, Tapiwa. One question. Thank you for the presentation. How much does it cost for the program, to undergo the program that you've just explained to us?
My apologies, but I need to any place but it's for free. It's for free. Yes, it will be online. It will be online. Okay. It will be online. It's for free. But unfortunately for this year, we've already taken the number of people, but I'm speaking to my regional office to see if we can get something for Q3. So I'll be in touch with Hope and see how many people are interested, and then how can we get people to be enrolled. Because these are the solutions that we want. This is what we want for Zim, These are the entrepreneurs. This is what they requested, and then I can push through for us to have this program. It takes about 9 months to complete. Yeah. Any more questions? So I have one question. Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So for SMEs, do you have particular like packages or programs that are already in place for SMEs in terms of discounts and that are already there? Or it's sort of like you have to come and negotiate on a case-by-case basis?
The moment you say, I know Tapio. If you just come through to DHL and say, Tapio, referred me, it's a very good deal for you. I mean, look, we are very open to negotiation. And one of the things that we do, like, I'll tell you, for instance, I'm not allowed to, we don't move things before you pay, like for sea freight. But because we understand cash flows in Zim, one of the things that we understand is how even our banking system is not effective at times. You understand from a banking perspective, there's what's called liquidity and insolvent. And then you have what we call a maturity mismatch, whereby you're going to be paid next week, but you need to deliver within 6 weeks. So if I wait for you to be paid after 2 weeks, which means you're going to miss your order with 2 weeks, and then you don't get paid. So with ocean freight, something I can negotiate. Like, I can move it whilst then you pay whilst it's in transit. Because we've also done a bit of credit vetting. When we interact with you, we understand you and get to understand as a business. So it's something that we are very, very flexible and something that we can do for you. But if you just say Tapio, you're sorted. Any more questions?
Morning, sir. Thank you for the presentation. My question is pertaining to a location intelligence aspect. You mentioned that for the example of America, if you have 50 states, you have at least 50 stations. Minimum of 50 stations. So a station in each state. So how does DHL determine where to position their station in that state based off their network or based off their consumers? And then the second question is, does digitizing affect your position as a station? Because now we're moving into digitization as a global perspective. So how does it affect your business?
Okay, thank you. So I'll give you an example with America. Because of certain, each state in America is known for something. It's something that is specific. If you go Google and what do we call it? That tech valley. What is it called? Silicon Valley. So we have a station in Silicon Valley, and then we understand it's something that it has to do with technology. That is where you're gonna get your hardware, your softwares, that you need moved. So because of that, we set up a site within that area because of that economy that is moving within that. Let's say, for example, if you go to China, there's a certain area that specializes on clothes. We have a station, and we understand people want to move clothes. There was a dramatic shift in terms of exports coming out of Turkey. We had fewer stations in Turkey, but we saw there was a shift, a lot of exports coming out of Turkey, a lot of factories coming up. So we had to set up more. So where we see economic activity happening and we see how the market is growing, we will move into it. If, for example, in Zimbabwe, in Harare, we feel like if you go to Sunway City, it's a booming new industry. We feel we need to set up a warehouse, we will put it. That is how we do it. Digitizing is, we embrace it. It's not really affecting us because what we've done is we have warehouses all over. At times, we don't necessarily need to be within that premise, but we can have a warehouse that we're just renting that once it comes through. We have what we call My DHLI. So My DHLI is a platform where we integrate you, where you can just do your, what do you call it? You press your order online and say, guys, can you pick my goods ABCD from point A to point B? And then it just filters through to the system. We integrate your system with our system, and then we manually just pick it up. We might not have a station there, but we might have a warehouse that is there. We also have another exciting one, what we call Saludo. You know, you can literally Uber a 30-ton truck. Just go on our application, then you just say, hey, I want a 30-ton truck, and then we can give it to you. Now.
Right. Okay. Technology was going something.
Oh,
Okay.
so you've changed how you want to spend your 1,000?
No, I haven't changed, but I've been shipping with DHL for a number of a few years. And the challenge that I always have is that when it comes to clearance, customs, um, the goods that I ship to Zim, they are not really well known by the customs officers and the people that be helping me. So many times I am charged duty, and it's now my duty to always school the people that will be working with me on the statutory instruments that my goods are not charged duty. So it's menstrual cups, and maybe people don't know if they are looking at them, if they are menstrual cups, what they're used for. And I don't know, maybe is it something that you train the staff on how to identify products and how to link them with the statutory instruments in the country? So at times I find this huge bill of tax that I have to pay, and then I have to say, no, these ones the government has regulated that they don't pay duty and stuff like that. Then I have to send in the specific size. Yeah, so I'm just thinking if someone doesn't know, who's not in my position, they will be at a loss.
Uh, very informative. I mean, look, like I rightfully said, we are here to learn. At times, look, we because we are people, we will miss it at times. One thing I pride is before we move stuff, what I always tell the team is please interact with the customer, understand. Am I getting the proper tariff? I will ask you, what is this? Describe it to me. Because I might get a tariff, 8711.0, whatever it is, but there's various tariffs within that tariff. I will ask you, what is it? If you don't know, I will also research. But one of the things that we've pride in is having that two-way communication. Because at the end of the day, if it's going to affect your costing, I would have done a disservice to you. But before we move it, I prefer that we discuss what is it? Can I quickly, do we agree on this? If I don't know, I can escalate, even engage Zimra on it. Because with these changes, Zim is quite interesting. 1 minute we are banning basic commodities, the next minute we've opened them. 1 minute we've removed, 1 minute we've added. So these are things that are always changing. Because of that, we might miss, but we should be abreast. But because some of the things, when it's flighted or circulated, you might miss it. So we are very open to see how then do we do that. But our team is always going for various training. When these SIs are actually issued, we actually have like morning meetings where we discuss some of these things. But feel free, I'll give you my card when you're moving something. Please let's talk, and then we can take it from there. Thank you. If there are no further questions, I only have one question, but the Charlie Steven International guy, you guys know this answer, so I'm not going to. I'm not. So if anyone can tell me, I've got a very nice diary in my bag. If anyone can tell me how much tonnage you can fit into a 40-foot container. How much tonnage? Yeah,
I really want the diary.
How much tonnage you can fit into a 40-foot container? Yes.
Depending upon the weight of the goods that you're carrying. So some products have lower volume but higher mass. So it's a variable. It depends on what you're carrying.
You're intelligent more than I am. You've already answered yourself, and you've already disqualified yourself by answering yourself. A 40-foot container has a certain total weight it can carry. That's what I want. So there's a 40-foot container and a 20-foot container. So I will share with you after I'm done. Yes, sir. No. You're going to get fired. My guy, you you ever talk to the boss later? The last one. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Oh, you want the dad?
You know what? Also like you. We did bring our forwarding guys.
Who's the forwarding guy? Who's the forwarding guy?
It's Jocelyn and Phineas. They're not here. So I only brought the guy from custody clearance. But what I can tell you is it can't be a straight 40 times. You have to be
dad. So there's a 40 foot and a 20. You want to try it the last time? Yes. 29. Close enough. So there's a 40 foot and a 20 foot. A 40 foot container takes in volumetric weight. So volumetric weight means it's big and bulky, but not heavy. And then a 20 foot container takes in something that is dense. It's very small, but very heavy. The interesting part is that a 20 foot carries more weight than a 40 foot. But the 40 foot is bigger, but the 20 foot carries more weight. The 20 foot carries 27 tons, and the 40 foot can carry up to 26 tons. So my dad, thank you, Hope. Cheers.
Thank you so much for that, Tapiwa. So we're going to break for 15 minutes. So we'll come back at what math is this? Okay, I'll tell you 20 past, exactly that one. I'm like, oh, it's 7 past. Yes, and so for our online audience as well, we'll be taking a break for 15 minutes and we're back for the second half of the session. Thank you. Hello everyone, can you please come back so that we can start the next half of the session? Yes, but it's going to take me 10 years to be one night. Can you please come back so we finish on time, ladies and gentlemen? Impact Hub team, please help me to get people back. Please, let's just start in 30 seconds.
I can't wait for the day. Coming home, friends from a long time. No, I'm missing you, oh yeah. Missing you, oh yeah. Are you missing me, oh yeah? Oh. See, I wanna know why you okay. You are just in the cuckoo, got my brain. Oh me, are you fine? Are you sick? Are you sick? This is my song every day. Oh, I wish there's a way. Get to see your face every day. Oh, I did. So tell me what you say. What you say, yeah. How you say. How you say, yeah. Go on, let I check. Go on, let I check. Go down, let I check.
Thank you guys. Thank you for coming back. I know it's always hard when we have a break and people are now connecting to come back for another round. But I won't say much. I would like to introduce Chieza Makwara, Managing Director of Charlie Stevens International. I think she's going to get in the nitty-gritties of these SIs that were being spoken about. So please can I have a round of applause for that?
Thank you so much, Hope. Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is one of my favorite places to be, and this is obviously one of my favorite presentations to make, because like most of you guys, I am an entrepreneur. So I understand the journey, I know the journey, and I'm really, really excited that I get to share what I know as somebody who was once where you guys are at, right? Before I start, I just want to say thank you to Impact Hub for inviting us to Accelerate. We're very excited about that. I want to say thank you to my predecessor from the wonderful DHL, the incomparable DHL. My business partner will tell you something very interesting. When we're starting up, we really looked up to DHL. We still do, hey? And he'll tell you something very interesting, that when it came to branding, I'm a marketer. So when it came to branding and when it came to our social media, I'd always be like, what is DHL doing? Let us copy their consistency. Let us copy how they put things together. And if you follow the DHL, the one that I particularly follow is the DHL Africa one. Everything is consistent, right? And if you follow the Charlie Stevens page, the Instagram, the Facebook, the LinkedIn, the website, everything is consistent. And we got that from the giants. So we are because they are. So let's give a round of applause for DHL before we get into it. Right, so welcome to our world. We are the logisticians. I brought some of the logisticians here to answer, to decode some questions you might have. So this presentation is not about me. It's about the industry as a whole, and it's about what they know and what I know. And as Tapiwa said, we don't know everything. We're here to learn, and I'm also here to learn and to hear from you guys. So, logistics in Zimbabwe. What is logistics? Now, I'm not going to give you a textbook theory. I'm just going to tell you what it is. It's the movement of goods from point A to point B, which is what we do at Charlie Stevens International. Now, logistics contributes obviously to the economic growth of our country, every country, because without logistics, there's no economic growth. Nothing is moving. It's all trade, right? In and out, right? This is going to be interactive, guys. I'm not just going to be standing here and talking. I also want to hear what you guys know. So, contribution to economic growth without logistics, there's no contribution, because logistics is at the center of import, export, and trade. Now we're going to talk, we've been talking a lot about the SDGs. These are the Sustainable Development Goals. You can see they are all here. And we're not going to talk about all of them, but we're going to talk about the ones that link directly to logistics. Everything links to everything, but there's very specific ones that link directly to logistics. What do you guys think? Come on, entrepreneurs, you know this. SDG 12, responsible consumption and production. Why do you think so, Oxy?
In isolation, right? It's
Yes.
about how goods are moving from one place to the
100%.
other. Fast, what is it called? FCMG or something
Fast
like
moving
that?
consumer goods. Okay.
Exactly,
I see.
exactly.
Wonderful. I
That
love that
one.
answer. I'm not going to add, I'm not going to take away. We don't have time. Anything else? 9. 100%. This is the one that we're going to touch on mostly. Industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Because, Tapiwa, that's logistics, right? 100%. Tapiwa is saying this is logistics because the industry as a whole cannot survive without logistics. There's innovation taking place. He was talking about how they have apps to move the things. You can move a whole 30-ton truck with an app. That's innovation. So that links with logistics. Infrastructure development, we have everything, warehouses, even the buildings that are being made. Everything centers around logistics. All that equipment, you know, that comes in, everything that we're using, even my crane and all of that. That's all logistics. Anything else before I move on? CSI? Okay. Yes, ma'am, at the back.
Thank you. So everything we are moving. So you're moving from, maybe it could be books which are from the education.
Yeah.
You're moving. So I would think there's an aspect of partnerships there.
Great. What is your name?
Nyaradzo is my name.
Nyaradzo, perfect answer, because everything happens with collaboration in logistics, right? So that's the partnerships you're talking about. So I would add that on to you. Perfect answer. I'd add that on to you. So yes, so the Sustainable Development Goals up to 2030 to transform our world links directly to the contribution of economic growth. So that's it about this. So that is basically logistics, but you can read more, you know, it's a very wide, you know, subject. So we're not going to spend time talking about what it is. Who are we? So we are Charlie Stevens International. We're founded in 2016 by myself and my business partner, Mr. Comfort Chimeds. Unfortunately, he's not here today. We do customs clearing, freight forwarding, removal in transit, removal in bond, and warehousing as well. You can go on our website, you can find out more. We will talk about some of the services in detail, and the team is here to speak to you guys and explain what exactly is customs clearing and all of that. Warehousing, we have a warehouse in Chitungwiza for those of you who would like to warehouse their stuff. And our vision is to be a global leader in the delivery of logistical services to the delight of our customers. And obviously our mission is providing excellent logistics services. So that is us. I brought my team here. Let me just, because they put together the presentation. I've got Nigel, I've got Emisha, I've got Atwell, Matida, Chido, and Proud. These are the guys that are here. So please feel free to answer, to ask, and they will answer your questions. Right, exports. Why are exports at the center of it all? We're gonna start with that, right? What do you guys know about exports? Taku, what do you know about exports?
Well, exports are essentially just people who, it's usually people who are selling goods from or local produce or products that are manufactured or produced here outside the country. So you need to move them from Zim to maybe SA or Zambia, wherever.
All right. That's true. So exports is definitely trade. Our products, local products going internationally and outside for foreign currency generation and for all of those reasons, right? In Zimbabwe, right, our biggest exports or biggest industries are agriculture, mining, and tourism, right? These are our biggest exports. But let's try and talk about which products we know exactly. Let's try and find which are the top 10 exports in Zim. What do you guys think? Before I tell you from my research. Yes, Taco again.
I think one of our top exports is tobacco.
Tobacco, that's right. Titoka.
Horticultural goods.
That's right. Come on, guys, don't even put up your hand. Just shout them out. It's fine.
Gold.
Gold, yes. Ooh, that's a hot one. Oxy, do you know something?
Blueberries.
Blueberries, yes. Talk about Selby Farm, right? Okay. What else, guys? Flower. Oh, yes. Flowers is actually really, really big. And DHL will also tell you that they do a lot of air freight for flowers, right? Yeah, that's it. Anything else, guys? Lithium, yes, lithium. But we will talk about the lithium one when we talk about permits and all of that. But he's absolutely correct. Okay, yes, we have even things like nickel. Nickel is actually a very big export in Zim. Anything else, guys? Proud? Okay, all right, that's interesting. I didn't even know much about tantalum. Yeah, we also have tourism. It's a big export. It's not a product, but it's generating foreign currency into the country. So that's an export, right? So why are exports vital, right? The expansion of the market. Now, with all these products that you guys have listed, and blueberry, tantalite, and all of that, if we are sending them outside the country, right, we're expanding. We're expanding our market, we're expanding our reach worldwide, and also giving them some of the goods that we make locally that they might not have locally, and it contributes to the gross domestic product of the country. Foreign currency earnings, this is why exports are vital. We get foreign currency. For an economy to be really booming, right, we need to have a good balance between exports and imports. More exports because they generate foreign currency than imports. But we are not saying imports are not essential. We're just saying we need more exports, right? Job creation, the more stuff we are making, the more stuff we're exporting, it means more jobs are created, right? So if somebody is farming blueberries, somebody is going to have to farm physically those blueberries, right? So that's more jobs being made. Somebody is going to need to box them and packaging them, right? That's an industry being grown. That means more foreign currency, right? Somebody is going to need to move the blueberries, right? Which means that's logistics. That's us. We're going to move them, right, guys? Yeah. So also exports are vital because they increase competitiveness, right? So what we mean by this is we are also having products from our own products going to compete worldwide, and that's very important. We've got great products. We've got quality products that need to go outside, right? And then economic growth. This is why exports are vital. How can we increase on our exports? The points are here. What do you guys think about invest in infrastructure and technology? Do you have any tech entrepreneurs? And no answer is wrong, guys. Yes, sir, at the back. And what's your name?
Jabulani.
Jabu.
Yes.
So let's talk about investing in infrastructure and technology in line with exports. What do you think?
Okay, I think we need faster internet or broadband or rather telecoms, because a lot of things nowadays happen digitally or online, IoT and stuff. Like in Hong Kong, they clear a container in 17 seconds with IoT and sensors. Here at Bedbridge, sometimes we spend 3 days with queues. So I think we need more tech. Like there will be need for 5G for national comms.
Wow.
Yeah, Econet is working on that, but we need to get it to the last mile to industry, to warehouses and stuff, that would streamline operations between Simra and stuff and might make police better because we would have data on the ground. and
I
more
love that.
voice. Thank you.
I absolutely love that. It's the collaboration we talk about in partnership and goals, right? If you have companies like Econet, you know, they're also, what can I say? If they're upgrading their services, their infrastructure, right? It means that we, the logisticians, us, the people who are moving the goods, we're at an advantage because we can then move our things in 17 seconds, like you said, not in 3 days. So I love that. That's actually a very good point. Anyone else want to add anything? Yes, sir. And your name?
My name is Jeffrey.
Hi, Jeff.
Good day. We need a good road network.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to invest in construction of roads
Mm-hmm.
because you wouldn't want a situation where a truck is stuck.
Mm-hmm.
It got into an accident because of
Mhm.
some potholes,
Mhm.
and maybe this truck is carrying medicine or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you really need a very good road network so that goods can move quickly and efficiently.
I love that, Jeff, because you know what? Again, it links to the sustainable development goals. Good infrastructure, guys. If that infrastructure is improved, right? People, trucks, movement is much, much easier. In Zimbabwe right now, we have certain transporters, or a lot of people avoid certain routes because the road is bad. You know, so that point is very, very strong when it comes to logistics. I'd like to add that there are other routes that have been made. Someone was talking about, Jabulani was talking about Bike Bridge, how it takes 3 days and whatever. You can also use Kazungula, you know. It's a little bit further, but you can use Kazungula because, like Jeff said, there's good infrastructure, there's good roads over there, right? So, but sometimes it's at a cost. It might be further. So I really, really like that point, that danger, that safety of the people who are also there. So very, very good point. Anyone else want to add something before I move on? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it's not ma'am, it's Oxy.
Yes, Oxy. I like that.
I think we need to invest in infrastructure and capital equipment because you need export grade goods, right, in
Mhm,
order
mhm.
to export them outside.
Mhm.
And usually, while we're making all these brilliant things, like with like our baobab drinks and
Mhm.
everything like that,
Mm.
is it export grade quality? And that
Mhm.
has to do with like the type of equipment that you're using,
Mhm.
the access to knowledge and information, and standards association and all of that stuff. So yeah, I think for us to export more, we need to create, I don't want to say better quality products, but better quality products.
Yeah. And I totally agree with you. And it looks like infrastructure is the word that keeps coming up, right? When it comes to manufacturing, when it comes to logistics. Anyone else want to add? Yes, Taco.
All right. So in terms of reach, when it comes to, for example, talking about logistics,
Mhm.
because we don't have a lot of tarred roads or so forth, there are certain areas that we can't access and we can't get goods and services to or from those areas. So increasing our infrastructure helps us also then increase our capacity and also the range of goods and services that we can then export as well.
Okay. Let me tell you an interesting fact. Without mentioning the name of the clients, yes, I do not mention the name of the client. So we are we are moving some very important agricultural good, right? Which was imported, but now it's being distributed all over Zimbabwe, right? So there are certain depots, right, that the transporter prefers to go than others. Why? Because of exactly what Taku is talking about, the infrastructure, exactly what Jeff and Jabu highlighted. The roads are bad. There's another place called, what was it called? Where we even increased the rate because we cannot find transporters who want to go there. They'd go to the Chinoi, they don't want to go to Gokwe, but it's not Gokwe. I'm trying to, I don't know now, it's just left my head. I'll think about where it was, where the transporter didn't want to go. So it increases the price. So it makes life very difficult because people will come to us and be like, oh, Charlie Stevens, you're increasing the price. No, it's because there's no good infrastructure. The transporters don't want to move in a bad road. It's not safe, and all of that. So that's one of the things that we really, really, as a country, the government and everybody and all the stakeholders, we really, really, really need to push this infrastructure development when it comes to logistics. Obviously, when it comes to manufacturing and everything, but today we're talking about logistics. Some of the points that we can increase our exports, the innovation in R&D. Innovation, these days everything is about tech, right? I liked the point that my predecessor said about, you know, using innovation in terms of apps to move things. We don't physically have to do these things sometimes. We can use an app. So we really, really need to push this issue of innovation, even selling things online marketplaces. You know, I was talking to you, I do not want to pronounce your name wrongly, but so I'm going to let you tell everyone what your name is. I was talking to Mudeo and she was telling me that she produces her oils, you know, and she exports and would like to further export them outside the country, right? Which is great. So imagine if Mudeo had her online marketplace where people can just buy and all we are doing is just shipping. You know, it doesn't have to physically, she doesn't have to start by physically sending it to South Africa, Kenya, the Netherlands, or wherever she wants to do. The client outside is literally just ordering the stuff. Then CSI comes in and we send the stuff. That's innovation. It's simple, but it's innovation. So online marketplaces, you know, apps, chatbots that sell things. Those are some of the things that can help in increase our exports because everything is becoming all tech, right? So yeah, we can increase exports by the cost of doing business. Proud. Was this your point? I feel like you need to help me here. I have some ideas, but I need some help. What do you mean? What did you mean?
All right.
Okay, guys, there's Proud's name. I'm not lying. Proud's name is over there. So, so we were collaborating.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. So, what I meant by the cost of doing business is, let's say for SMEs.
Yeah.
Like, here in Zimbabwe,
Mhm.
to do some things, it is hard for them. Like, it is expensive. So, if we reduce that cost, it will be easier for them to do the export process without having to use a lot of capital.
Okay.
So, if we reduce that cost, and then we can increase the number of exports we do.
Okay, great. But entrepreneurs, how do we reduce the cost? Do you guys have any idea how we reduce the cost of maybe manufacturing or maybe doing the business? Oxy?
Yeah, I guess maybe like shared economies. So instead of you, each individual entrepreneur buying like capital to manufacture whatever, we could just like kind of like rent it. And then same thing with farming and trucks. Instead of buying your food truck, you just rent it out to a certain number of entrepreneurs. So yeah, the whole idea of like a shared economy, I think.
I love that. That's a really great idea. Can I add on to that? Yeah, I feel like some things like you don't even have to buy some equipment, like you're saying. Let's get together and let's rent, or let's get together and buy, maybe start a little, you know, project together. I'm actually thinking about that for myself. That's amazing. At CSI, what we've done is we've kind of taken the Uber Lyft approach. So we don't have any physical trucks. We don't own any 30 foods, 40 foods, and all of that. But we have a network, a selected network that is checklisted and verified that we work with. So instead of us having the manufacturing costs, or not the manufacturing, so the maintenance and the operational costs of, you know, maintaining and operating a truck, which is very, very high in maintenance, we subcontract to verified. Please get the word verified. We don't use anybody to very verified contractors. And yeah, and that actually reduces our cost of doing business. It reduces our truck stop space. We don't need to park trucks. They need a truck stop, right? It reduces our service. You know, we don't need 2 services. All we're giving the client is a rate. So yes, and insurance. We do goods in transit insurance. So yeah, that's much about exports. Does anyone want to add anything before I move over from here, from the exports? There is so much to decode and take apart. And I think after the presentation, Hope will allow us, to have time to interact. And you can always go on the website. But if anyone has anything burning, Kido has nothing burning. Okay, let's move on. Oh, it's me. I'm moving on. Okay. All right, imports. Right. So we're talking about for an economy to thrive, that exports need to be more than imports, or there needs to be a balance, right? The economies will tell you that there needs to be a balance. But imports are also very vital. We're not going to take away the imports. They're very, very vital to the economy. Our company actually thrives on imports. Of course, we want to get to a place where in Zimbabwe, in Africa, we have more exports than imports. Right now, in Zimbabwe, we have more imports than exports. Our company thrives on imports, but let's talk about some of the things that are being imported in the country. We have agriculture and engineering, energy products, minerals and fuels, basic commodities. Anyone who wants to maybe just throw in which specific agriculture and energy and minerals, or if they want to add anything? Products? Yes, Jabu.
On agriculture, it's mainly wheat and soybean crude oil.
Wonderful. That's true. That's true. Anybody else? We have equipment that comes in. We have a lot of equipment that is all sorts of funny engineering things, guys. We do a lot of manufacturing here. So there's all these manufacturing products that come in. So that's big. Fuels, we have fuels, actual fuel comes in. We have minerals as well. And the biggest one that we have, which I think maybe the populace, almost every Zimbabwean is trying to bring in this product, is what? The basic commodities. We're going to talk in depth about that, and we're going to look at that SI a little bit now, right? What's the contribution of imports? What's the contribution of imports? Diversification, right? If we have imports coming in, we have so many different products coming in. Let's take the simplest example of rice, right? Some of us like basic red seal rice from Zimbabwe. Some of you want that, what's Malawi rice? Some of you want that Thailand long grain rice. That's like the diversification we're talking about. You're not stuck to the same product. It's not made the same way. It's coming from different, it's coming from different company. It's coming from different countries. It's coming from different continents, actually. So we have that diversification. It's an advantage, we're not having the same products. Reduction of manufacturing costs. Maybe you don't have the money, as Oxy was talking about buying this equipment that makes rice or whatever, or that packaging equipment. So you'll just import it. Sometimes it's a lot cheaper. Most times it's a lot cheaper when it's imported. Quality control. I remember when the DHL Tapio was making the presentation, he was talking about what you call CBCA. This is called the Bureau Veritas. We're going to talk again in the next slide, I think, in depth what it is, but basically what it is the certificate of conformity. It makes sure that we don't have low quality products coming into the country. So when we import these things, they're actually checks that are made, internationally, so that no low quality things. The CBCA is an international thing. It's not a Zimbabwean thing. It's international. It's all over the world. So we have checks to make sure, and inspections to make sure that these things are of high quality. So yes, importing it helps us by just checking our products, because they're not going to come in if they don't have this certificate, and it's not easy to get. Increased profit because obviously the importation will be cheaper, so you can sell it at a better price or at a normal price, then you get a better profit, and it boosts efficiency. How? Emisha and Atwell, how does importation boost efficiency? What do you guys think? And anyone else who wants to help them?
Hi, Chiedza.
Hi, Nigel.
Okay, so if we have a wide range of products, right?
Yeah.
You're saying, so some of us prefer the long grain rice, some of
Yeah.
us prefer the red seal.
Yeah.
It boosts efficiency in terms where we have a variety of things to choose from.
Mhm.
So we are efficient in that way that every product that you prefer is available. So that's efficient.
Okay, so we make sure that things are available. Hey,
Yes.
all right, that's good. Yeah, so those are some of the contributions to that. So why should SMEs tap into imports? Yes.
My name is Emisha.
Hi, Emisha.
Small and medium enterprises should tap into imports because they can get raw materials, goods at low prices, goods at high quality, and goods are variety, and this will improve their business.
Okay, that's great. I like that. A variety. It goes back to the diversification of the product. So SMEs, when you're importing, you have so much diversification. You have so many products to choose from. You're not choosing that one thing, you know. You have so many oils to choose from. You have, you know, so many types of rice to choose from, so many seeds, so much manufacturing equipment to choose from China, from Turkey, from wherever. So that's a very, very good point. Anything else, Atwal, you want to add to that?
Okay, I think I'm going to add on goal number 9 about infrastructure development.
Okay.
On SDGs. Importation. Currently, we are seeing that the importing we require. Okay, let me DG structure development. So for us to be able to import, we need good infrastructure for us to be able to import. Yeah, I think that's.
All right, thank you. That's a very good point as well. Yes, for us to be able to import, we do need good infrastructure, because if you import something, where you're going to put it if you don't have the infrastructure? Very simply put like that. So yes, that's imports for you. But if you want to find out more about importations, how it can benefit you, go onto our website, talk to the guys, come to the office. Right, the hot topic right now in Zimbabwe is SI 92 of 2023. Now, what is a statutory instrument? So a statutory instrument is a legislative document that's done by the government. It's put in the statute. It's gazetted by the Ministry of Finance, and it's basically just again, like I said, it's legislation. It's information put out by the government to tell us, you know, when it comes to importations and exports and trade, to tell us this is the law now. This is what's happening now. This is what's needed. This is what you need to do in order to import or export and all of that in order to do your trade. Now, this particular SI 92 of 2023, my eyes can't see. It's this one. I don't know if you guys can see. Have you guys seen it before? Okay, so this is the SI. So for those people who are importing basic commodities, it's for everyone, because you don't have to be a company. You can import as an individual. So this SI now, what it does and what it says, it suspends your duty, your VAT, your taxes, your surtax, and all of that on all of that. Maize, rice, milk, flour, salt, cooking oil, sugar, PJ, toothpaste, bath soap, washing soap. So basically, if you're importing washing powder, usually when you're importing washing powder, you have to pay for, in the past, before this SI was put in, if you're importing washing powder, if you want to bring a 30-ton truck from South Africa, from maybe cash and carry, let's say cash and carry in Messina, right? You want to bring your 30-ton truck of washing powder through your suppliers, cash and carry in Messina. You bring your truck, we calculate, your agent, we calculate your duties, your taxes for you. There's an SH code. An SH code, every product on earth, everything you can think of has what you call an SH code. So maybe your SH code is tariff 8730,000, and it says that your duties is 15%, your duties is 25%, your VAT is 15%, maybe your surtax is 10%. Then it hikes the duties. Then you have to pay that duty at at the border, right? So that was your usual before the SI was put in. So now what the SI does now says everything is zero. You can just bring in, you don't have to pay anything. You also don't need a permit. You don't need a license because a lot of products coming into Zimbabwe are regulated. So this SI now says you don't need that permit. You don't need to pay duty. You can bring in anything, guys, right? Is there anybody who's ever imported something? What have you imported, Chipo? Is it Chipo or Chido? Chipo.
Sanitary products,
Yes.
menstrual cups.
Yes.
Those are the ones which we usually import.
I was actually thinking about you when you're speaking to Tapiwa. I'm interested to know, do you know which SH code you're using?
I have it written down.
Yeah.
Yes. But offhand, I can't really remember.
Would like to check it as well. I know DHL is your favorite, but you know we can check it also. No. We can check it also because you are right, and it is your right to call out Zimra and say, listen, this is not the correct tariff. This is the tariff. And let me go deeper with tariffs. Do you know that a same product made with slightly different components can have a different tariff? For example, truck tires. We can have truck tires, we can have commercial tires, we can have the normal tires for Honda Fit. They are all tires, right? But do you know that they can have a different tariffs? Truck tires can be, this is not the actual, it's just an example. Truck tires can be a 25% duty, commercial tires can be 10%, and normal tires can be 5%. Guys, give me the actuals. Do you have them in your head? You don't have them in your head. Okay, that's fine. So galvanized steel and wire steel can have two different tariffs. Just because one steel is wire and just because the other steel is galvanized, it can have two different tariffs. So you, Chipo, are allowed to say to Zimra, listen, this is not the correct tariff. My menstrual cups are cups, they are not menstrual pads. Menstrual pads can have duties, maybe, and then menstrual cups cannot because they're cups. Just something simple like that. So it's very, very good to know, and it's good to know your right. It's your right. When you get to the border or you get to the airport with your stuff, do not be intimidated by those kind of things. It's there, it's legislated, it's in SIs, it's in tariff books, and your agents, companies like us, like Charlie Stevens International, we are here to help you through that. That's why you need the agent, right? But other things, yes, I want to make money, but other things you can do it yourself. You don't need an agent. That's the honest truth of it, right? Another example that I was once asked about legislation, there's something called the temporary permit to bring in your car from another country and bringing it to Zimbabwe or wherever, or if you want to travel out. People think that you need an agent or someone to do an ATIP. You can do it yourself. It's your right. These are things you should know. It's just an application of a temporary permit. You are literally just writing the application. You just need some of the maybe your ID and some of the other things. Hope if I'm running out of time, please let me know because I'm not watching the time. So yes, that's the SI. So benefit of the SI, we said it suspends the duty and VAT on products, basic commodities, rice, flour, washing powder. The benefits, of course, I've said it, but I want to hear you guys say it. Entrepreneurs, what are the benefits of these things? Come on, guys, we just said them. Do you want me to start calling out people? Yes, ma'am, at the back. Is your hand up? Yes, please contribute. It lowers your cost, yes, because you don't have duties and VAT, right? All you have is your transport cost, where you'll call CSI and you'll be like, CSI, can I have a 30-ton truck? But you're not paying any duties. And it means the person you're selling to, the price is going to be very cheap and very competitive because you didn't have those duties. Auntie, I love that point. What's your name, ma'am? Charlie. Chandy. Well, I thought it was Charlie. Then I'll be like, come to Charlie Stevens International. All right. Who else, guys? Come on, guys. We're talking about this. Sir? You're smiling. Yes. Yes. What do you think? You can even copy. It's all there.
We said diversification, efficiency, lower in costs, and I think that's mostly it.
Great, because there's diversification now because you can order all types of washing powder, Omo, what, safe, all of that, right? all of it, all types of rice, all types of whatever. You need to, I don't know why the menstrual pads are not, but as an advocate for women, please, can we speak about the menstrual pads being on the SI? Those are some of the things. Are they? Oh my God. Yeah. Uh-huh. They're still not there. That's an interesting point that we need to raise when we go for these talks and these trade exhibitions. Those are some of the things what we need to see. She's saying that the menstrual pads are on the SI, but what's maybe not this SI, but the raw materials are not. So it means it's not there. So does that work? It doesn't, right? So we need the pressure groups, we need the people in the industry to go and talk to the government and talk to the Ministry of Finance and say we need to add this. And there are organizations like the Shipping and Forwarding Association of Zimbabwe, which is, I guess, one of the regulatory boards for shipping and forwarding that we can go to. I know I'm touching on a lot, but are you guys following? All right, so challenges faced by the SI. What do you guys think before I get into it?
So, okay, there's zero cost, but is there still regulation in terms of what comes in to the country?
Yes, because some products, they'll require a CBCA. So they'll pick and choose which products, you know, so they'll say, okay, maybe rice, a lot of rice is okay. So that won't need a CBCA, like a Bureau Veritas. But other products like medicines, you know, they need to check that. That needs a CBCA, right? What other products need a CBCA, Matida, from the top of your head? In the tech? Sorry, say that again with your mic.
Most projects in the tech industry, like your laptops, if they're over 1,000, that is because they don't want to dump things into Zimbabwe. You know how they just give us the bad quality stuff so that we keep importing. So if you're importing in masses, I know there's 1,000, most things more than $1,000 US, then you need a certificate of conformity.
Okay, so they probably do that because they don't want most things that are in high value. Maybe let me say it that way, Matida, because they don't want things that are in high value to come in volumes and they're of low quality product. So yes, so some of the products are regulated, but these basic ones, salt will just come in, guys. Doesn't need a CPCA. What is salt going to do to you, Oxy?
Too much salt. How much time do you have?
Is it the government fault that you ate too much salt? Yeah, petroleum jelly. I mean, these are simple. We can make some of the things here. So they don't really need to be extra touch. But like what Machida is saying, you know, things with like laptops, of things like lithium batteries, you know, those things are dangerous. So they have to regulate stuff like that. So yes, does that answer you?
Yes, but I was just thinking in terms of just competition of like local manufacturers, you know, there are some people who are manufacturing, you know, the Vaseline, the lotions, and stuff like that. And now they're getting beat by these imports that maybe cost 1 cent.
100%.
Less, so
100%. Oh, you should be presenting here with me. I mean, this is great. So what Oxy is saying, we are going there, the challenges. So you've already gone to the point where I was going. The SI is bringing in some challenges, right? I'm not going to be the mediator here to say more challenges or less challenges, you know, it's a whole conversation going on. But it is bringing in some challenges. For example, like what Oxy said, local industry depreciation. It means that competition that Oxy is saying, that people rather import zero rated than make the actual products, but the products are right there. Mateo has the products. So that is a really, really big disadvantage with the local market right now. But why did the government do this? The products were not there. The products were expensive. So they came up with an idea. They came up with, let's look at it. Zero hunger. Yes, exactly. So zero hunger. There was nothing. There was hunger. So the things needed to come in. But also there's foreign currency going out of the country. Instead of us manufacturing the stuff and keeping our foreign currency, then exporting this petroleum jelly, we are taking our money. The tuck shops are going to the Messina They're buying and all that money is going out. So foreign currency. This is why we said imports versus exports. Exports bring in foreign currency, imports take them out. So we are suffering in that degree. But it's a big conversation. It's happening. Our economy is very dynamic here. We're not going to point fingers and say, why did they say this? Why did this happen? But I want you entrepreneurs to think about how dynamic our economy is and some of the decisions that have to be made because our environment is so dynamic, right? So let's take advantage of the SI when it's there. There can be another SI that can come out and it can just say, this is no longer in effect. Do you guys understand? Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Any contribution? Check it, share it in red. Okay, I have 10 minutes. Okay, another SI is this one to do with, I can't see, this one to do with cars. Matilda, do you want to explain that one quickly? You have literally a minute.
So the one to do with cars benefits us all because sometimes we think, buying cars from abroad is actually maybe expensive. In actual fact, it is not because they put this SI 72 of 2022 that allows you to pay duties half in foreign currency and half at the current bank rate. So imagine that goes down a lot because the bank rate, okay, let me not talk about that, but my point being, it's even more cheaper to import your car. So yeah, that was the SI 72 of 2022.
Yes, that's fantastic. Although Charlie Stevens, we don't like to do a lot of people coming and trying to import their cars. Guys, you can do that by yourself. We want you to bring, we don't refuse business, but some of the things, like I said, you can do it by yourself. But before this SI card came out, there was another SI that was there before. I forgot which one it was, that says all personal vehicle cars pay duties in USD, right? So now it's changed to this. This is what my point about SI is changing. So you guys, as entrepreneurs, you need to be always in line with what the Ministry of Finance is saying, what ZIMRA is saying about your imports, your exports, and all of that. So get to know your SIs. Always listen. It affects you. It affects all of us, right? All right. Trade agree. Okay, this is on the wrong spot, but okay. So trade agreements. So trade agreements. I remember when Tapiwa was here, was talking about some of the things that make your importation cheaper because of the trade agreement. So we have the bilateral, the multilateral, and then we have this hot one that's happening right now. It has not been put into effect. There's still conversation around the African continental free trade area. So many conversations are happening. It will be a very, very good thing for Africa. It means we can trade within ourselves and not be able to pay the VAT and the duties, and our economies will boom, guys. We don't have to be trying to send everything to Europe. You can bring your jojoba oil to Zimbabwe and I can import it duty free and all of that. And that other product that you said that I didn't know what it was, all of that. Imagine if we're trading free like that. So that's the one. But right now, what's in effect, we have the bilateral ones. Bilateral means two, Zim and Malawi, Zim and Namibia, Zim and SA, Zim and another country, right? So it means two countries have allowed to trade and they've suppressed duties and VATs on certain products. Then we have the multilateral ones. The multilateral ones, these ones are the most common ones, where it's SADC, which means the SADC countries, if you're importing something from South Africa, it means that this thing, on some products, it's not on every product. Some products are suppressed duty. So those are some of the things, and the COMESA as well. Let me just show you quickly what they look like. So this is a SADC and this is a COMESA. So if this is attached on your bill of entry, when we do the bill of entry into ZIMRA, it's going to suppress your duties. So where maybe your duty was 350 million RTGS, I'm using real figures. Those are the figures that are there now. 350 million for a 30-ton truck of something, right? If you use a COMESA, it can actually go down by 10% or 20%, depending on what the product is. So this is what you call a SADC. The COMESA works the same way. But let me tell you a funny thing. Certain products, the SADC and the COMESA hike the duty. It's funny, isn't it? I don't know why. It's a whole conversation to talk. I know you're like, Richard. I'm trying to think, but I think one of the basic commodities, I will definitely look into that. But I'm telling you, some of them, they hike. And it's like, why did you put a SADC? Remove the SADC. These are the conversations that will be happening in the office, right? So yes. Yes, Chanda. Charlie. Yes, Charlie.
Thank you. So is it an option? Can I choose which whether I want to add SADC or COMESA or?
You should choose.
Okay.
You should choose. Most of the time it's to your advantage. So when you're bringing in your staff, Chanda, usually you're using an agent. You're using us, a logistics company, a customs clearing agent. We should actually tell you, Chanda, you need to tell your supplier to give us the SADC. The SADC comes from the supplier. So we will tell you if you don't know, because you don't know these things. So we will tell you. So that is always preferential for most products. Very few products it hikes, but for most products it's very preferential. So yes, we are there to tell you. Give us a list of products to tell you. Here you can see one of our good customers, Capri. Capri uses the SADC. This is for their exports. They export from Zim to Malawi, DRC, where? Zambia and all of that, right? So they use the SADC. It suppresses the duty for who? For the importer that side. And this one is for, I just cannot see, but I think it's for, what is Mukati? Mukati is Well Pure water. It's one of our clients as well. So they use the COMESA. It means everything that they're bringing, the duties are less, right? Let's move on. So these are the trade agreement, importance of them, peace, prosperity, eradication of poverty, linking to the SDGs. I'm talking very quickly because Hope is looking at me very quickly. How they affect the Zim economy. I think all this side, she can share the slide with you guys and then you can see benefits of work. This is the last slide, I promise you. These are the benefits of working with us. We use Zimra, we're accredited by Zimra and we work alongside them with the Zimra and the SCUDA system, which you need to get certified for. There's actually a whole course that you do. So 90% of our company is certified except people who are in other departments who have nothing to do with logistics. Consultancy, like Chanda is asking, we consult and we tell you guys, use your SADC, use your, your COMESA. Legislation, we are abreast with all the legislation that's happening within the country because that is our job, right? Mitigation between the client and the supplier, like Chipo was saying, sometimes the Zimbra doesn't know. Zimbra just wants to hike your duties. It's their job. They need to make money for the country, right? But you, as Chipo, you'll be like, no, this is the wrong tariff. So that's it. CBCA, quality control. We do not want low quality products in our country. So we need that. So we can facilitate a CBCA inspection for you and all of that. Application of permits. Some products need permits. You cannot bring into the country lithium batteries without a permit. We go to the Ministry of Commerce and we do the import for you. You apply online, there's certain procedures, we do all of that. Actionable information through education. Of course, we're educating you right now. Tech savvy, we are tech savvy. They are tech savvy. I am not, but I will get there. So that's something. We are innovating international and mostly we are cool. Thank you so much. Just a burning question. Okay, the first one, Chanda has a burning one. Oh, you have a burning one, sir.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you for your enlightening presentation. Yeah, I really enjoyed it and the whole conversation. So my name is Upenyu from Meta Design.
Hi, Upenyu.
Hi, Chichi. So, so I'd like to first talk about the issue that was raised by Oxy, which is about quality of products. And we are talking about exports. So you are a local entrepreneur. Let's just give an example of an agripreneur who is exporting organic products, 100% organic products to USA. Okay. But in the US, probably they may be concerned that probably this product have been faked somehow or have entered the supply chain through some means that it has been counterfeit original and have been delivered safely in the right condition. Then Jablan talked about quicker clearance of goods, meaning that we are dealing with data now. So there's this technology, blockchain technology. I never heard anyone talking about it, but I think it's a pertinent technology in logistics because we are talking about provenance, where the products you are either importing or exporting should be delivered in the right condition and should be provable that this is how the product was sent like. So you, your company, DHL, and all other logistics companies, how are you positioning towards the technology of blockchain technology and provenance so that we order products that we know that they are never counterfeited? Thank you.
Great. Great question, Upenyo. I'm going to take you back. First part of your question, I'm going to take you back to CBCA. We, as a worldwide, when it comes to conformity of products, we can never get it 100% right. And we are in Zimbabwe. Sometimes we don't know the law of America. And what is that board called? Maybe Hope you might know it, where they check the conformity of, is it the FTC in America? There's the FDA. Thank you, Penny. So there's the FDA in America who check, but we are not from America, so we would never know. What we can do is our own side. We can have the checks and the balances from our own side and try and research as much as we can. If the FDA doesn't approve it, because I can imagine when you do your product, before you send a whole plane of the product, you send samples. So if it's not FDA approved, they're not going to get it. So those are some of the things that work with the check and balances. And the CBCA, why didn't we have a thing of a CBCA? Next time, we'll just email it to you guys. The CBCA, the CBCA that we're talking about, it's international. That's why you need that certificate of conformity. That product will not come in if it doesn't have a CBCA. So the suppliers who are selling these products to you go to the Bureau Veritas and they get the CBCA or the COC. That's the name of it. That's the other name of it. Here in Zimbabwe, we do the same thing. If the supplier cannot, there are inspections that happen at all ports, Beira Port, Durban Port, coming into Zimbabwe. So that would be my answer to you. Blockchain technology, I'm here to learn, Upenyo. I'm here to also learn. I've heard the term, I've heard about it. Are we there? I don't think so, but we're here to learn. Let's open up the conversations. We're here to learn from you. So that's my answer. I hope that helps. Okay, and then Chanda had one, and I think that would be our last one.
Yeah, I just wanted a bit of clarification on the importation of batteries.
Okay.
I thought there was an SI 12 or something of 2020, specifically for solar batteries, and lithium ion is specified. They are zero.
Okay.
They're duty free. Has that changed?
I'm not sure. I have to recheck with that. I have to recheck the SI. I have to recheck the tariff as well. And if it's linked solar and lithium, maybe they're two different tariffs. Remember what we're talking about. So I have to recheck. What I can tell you right now about lithium, as a country, we're not allowing any exports of lithium. Is that what you're asking? We're not allowing any exports. The SI said we cannot because lithium is now one of our big exports, right? So we need to regulate that. We don't want everyone just taking our lithium out. So we do not allow export of lithium for now. That is what the SI says. Will they change it? Probably, because at some point we'll need to bring in the foreign currency. Imports of lithium batteries is allowed, but they are regulated. You need a CBCA, you need an import permit and other stuff like that. But other things, I have to go back to my ops team. They'll tell me. They also feed in the information. Am I right? Banned, yes, and the import is not. All right, great. Thank you so much, guys. We're here to help.
Thank you so much, Jeza. That was very enlightening and fun, and I hope everyone learned something and they can apply it in some way. Yeah, so I thank you all for coming today. We have our last Friday series next week with Zim Trade. So if you're interested to learn more about exports and go deep into that area, they'll be here with us next Friday. So just to end off our session, I would kindly ask that we all go by the grass area to take a group photo, and we can all disperse and connect and go. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Zibe chama chama kubangu ininizi namba bangi asi ingwadile mubi puti kuno kushekera ipeipe ingwadile Akutwangira mababy okutekera chapakati shift the blame on you. Akuyendesa mapawo okutambulira baby okusira my bills on you. Mpana uyasira na rasta ndiye muridzi wechimoko rasta ese amokuita yakaploto rasta ngoro watendo tabarasta makatambira level faster asi ndombariro wevanhu vane sirire vasingade kupfurwa kunza gafa koiwe unomtumire wanga achiritumire koiwe unomtumire ndakutwakire mapedo koiwe unomtumire.
Let's all move for the picture. Yes. Kindly let's move for the picture, for the group photo. I want your faces on the photo.
Wachisanganisa nechitsitso daizadisisa wandimamikito ndingiri kusasa niharanga ini asindaisa uchiti uri kutumataka zuva nezuva riri kuhakwa ini ndiri kupakwa ndosipakwa koiwe unomtumire wanga achiritumire koiwe unomtumire ndakutangire mapedo koiwe unomtumire wanga achiritumire koiwe unomtumire ndakutangire mapedo ona kukutorera chimoko wakateba ona kukutorera chimoko siyawega ona kukutorera chimoko wakateba ona kukutorera chimoko siyawega.